Anyone in the public eye learns to deal with vitriol online, but it can be particularly ugly for women, as Fox's Gretchen Carlson learned when she tweeted about being in a car accident as a passenger.
I got this from Atheist Punk. Did you hit a Festivus pole? Right. And from Betty Harvey, all about you. You did not have the accident. The driver did. Your dumb blonde life flashed? Ha. Betty, I got news for you. That is not the first time I've heard a dumb blonde joke. Try something else, something new.
Wow. And joining us now, despite the fact that her train from New York was canceled, is the anchor of Fox's The Real Story, Gretchen Carlson.
Oh, it's great to be with you, Howard. I made it here, by airplane, by train, however I made it.
So glad. How nasty does it get for you on places like Twitter?
You know, here's the thing. I anchor The Real Story, and I like to keep it real. And one of the ways in which we decided to keep it real was to ask people for their comments about the show, the good, bad, and the ugly. I feel that it's important to, on occasion, expose some of the ugliness, because in social media, there's this thing about anonymity, and there's no filter. And I feel like people just say immediately what comes to their mind.
Things that they would never say to your face.
Never say to your face. Well, some of them might, but usually correct. They would not say it to your face. And so I think it's important to expose it and also say their names, because, you know, sometimes it hurts. But the reality of it is it happens to people who are in the public eye. And I think it's important from time to time to expose it.
I think that's true, but I can't help but notice, particularly when certain women retweet some of the stuff that is said about them, that it is sexist, it is misogynist, it is sexual, it is violent, and I wonder, like, how do you cope with that?
The interesting thing is that I'm an automatic target. Number one, I have blonde hair.
Right. So you got the dumb blonde joke.
I mean, you know, and then it's just ad nauseum, one after the other. Also, I'm a former Miss America, so right away people just assume, okay, well, dumb times two, right? Unfortunately.
It's two strikes right there.
And I work at Fox, you know, and you know that. There are a lot of people out there who don't like Fox, and so there are easy targets there. Fortunately, I do not face some of the other criticism that other women face with regard to the sexism things, and I have not seen as much of that. But here's the thing. It seems to be a lot about appearance. And I think women do face this more than men do. So the story.
The worst thing I get is somebody doesn't like my tie.
They don't like your tie.
I need a haircut.
But a lot of the tweets and emails are about appearance. And what I always like to share is that I'll get one from Ethel who will say, "How dare you wear that dress? How can you be a good role model for your children?"
Really?
And the very next email or tweet will be from Bob. "Could you wear that dress every day?"
Oh.
So, you know, it's just a differing of opinion, and you have to take it with a grain of salt, and you have to have a thick skin.
Could you wear that dress tomorrow? Well, since you brought up being blonde and a former Miss America, you one day came in, and this got a lot of attention, and you weren't wearing any makeup. At least you did a segment.
Yeah.
And is there more pressure on women? Maybe this is a very obvious question, to look a certain way, and certainly that's the rap on Fox, all these beautiful blondes. And what were you trying to demonstrate by showing up in all your natural glory?
Well, that was the International Day of the Girl. So for me, there was a news peg for it, and I'm a huge believer in building your self-esteem from the inside out. That's the way I'm hoping to raise my children. That's what I say in speeches for young women, to empower them. So for me, it was keeping it real again. If I'm going to honor women and building self-esteem from the inside out, then I'm going to show what I look like from the inside out. And that's why it was so important to me.
Before we leave this question about the online abuse, I mean, on some level, though, I know we all try to have thick skins in this business. Doesn't it get depressing?
No, you know what? My dad gave me the best advice of my life, and it was after I was Miss America and some of this hate started. And he said, "Gretchen, you know what? No matter how hard you try, you're never going to get everyone to like you." And it sounds so simplistic, but it stayed with me all these years.
It goes back to when you were Miss America?
Oh, yes. And that was really the eye-opening experience of people.
Because you won this great honor.
Yeah, it was almost like your entire resume went out the window and people said whatever they said.
Let's talk a little bit about your show, which is a few months old now. I wasn't surprised that you have women's panels where you discuss a lot of sort of family-type issues, but you also have men's panels.
The Mantle.
What's up with that?
I got to get you on with the Mantle, because you come on the show just as a media guest.
It's a date.
But the Mantle, you know, I think sometimes it's great to get three men together. We have some of the most great conversations and differing points of view. They're usually on Fridays. We also have a faith panel, but most times that includes somebody who doesn't believe in faith, an atheist, and we have a rabbi, we might have a Muslim, we have a Christian. These are very invigorating conversations. One of the things we're trying to do on the show, besides keeping it real, is have a lot of guests, because I believe that interviewing is a skill that I love to put on display on a daily basis, and we try to have at least 10 guests to really get a lot in.
But you're also trying to broaden the subject matter and also not just bring on the usual suspects. We all know the parade of people who appear on cable news all day long.
Exactly. So it's one way to try and keep it it fresh in the afternoon.
Oh, okay, interesting. The man panel. Let me write that down. What's the nickname for it again?
The Mantle.
Okay.
We coined it.
All
and we're
right.
also starting a veterans segment every week. And this past week we paid tribute to a wonderful Marine who was severely injured in Iraq and now is getting one of those smart homes. And so on a weekly basis, we're going to be focusing on giving tribute to our veterans.
Now, you are down here for a screening of a movie that you were in called Persecuted.
Exactly.
Is this your second career? How did it come about that you get to be a movie star?
You know, I was asked to be in it. I have a very small part, but I have to tell you, it was so much more difficult to film the movie than it was to do live TV on a daily basis.
Why is that?
You know, they just do all these takes. I think when we do live TV, you know, we do it and we're done.
You screw it up,
if we flub the
you're
word,
off.
we say, oh, you know, what's the difference? But this is behind the scenes there with the producer, Daniel Lusko.
Right, but now you have a very difficult role. You play a TV anchor.
I'm Diana Lucas. Yes, and if you come late to the movie, you'll miss me because I'm in one of the very first scenes. I also come back at the end, and I'm part of the cliffhanger of the movie. But we're screening it for Congress on Monday night, so that's why I'm here.
Right, and so it wasn't like you could just do one take and walk away.
It was about 100 takes for this one main scene at the beginning.
Boy,
and I
that's
was
a learning curve.
Whew,
yeah.
Back to live TV.
Okay, well, we're delighted you could be down here and
Thank
join
you,
us.
Howard.
Talk
Great
a little
to
bit
see
about
you.
the online world and also about your show. Gretchen Carlson, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Good to see you.